These 6 steps that I'm about to share with you rewired my mind for wealth, and they will do the exact same thing for you if you apply them. Now, the 6 steps are from my favorite book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. Now, if you've read Think and Grow Rich and you have not followed the 6 steps, I mean, you're going in the wrong direction. Now, what I've noticed is that people read something and they think they're going to benefit from reading it. I'm telling you right now, if you're just focused on gathering information instead of implementation, then your results are not going to change. Now, Napoleon Hill in chapter 2 on desire speaks about these 6 steps. And I'm going to show you exactly how to implement these 6 steps, okay? So let's just read a little bit of what Napoleon Hill says. He says, every human being who understands the purpose of money wishes for it, but wishing will not bring money. But desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire money, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring money. The method by which desire for money can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. So let's break down number 1. Now, if you're watching this because you're unsatisfied with the money that you're making, I need you to do exactly what I tell you to do in this video, and I promise you, you will start to win in a big way. These 6 steps literally took me from £15,000 a year, and I turned that into a monthly income very, very fast. But we've got to stop reading and reading and reading and not applying, okay? Gathering information is not the way forward. It's about implementation. So let's go into step 1. Napoleon says you've got to fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you want. It's not sufficient merely to say that I want plenty of money. Be definite to the amount. Now, once you understand the subconscious mind, you'll understand what Napoleon Hill is saying here. He's saying you've got to be definite, because if you're just affirming, I want more money, you can walk outside, you can find $1, you can find €1, or you can find £1, and that's more money. So step 1 is write down the exact amount of money that you want to accumulate, okay? That's step 1. Now, step 2 is determine exactly what you're going to give in return for the money that you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Now, this is where a lot of people go wrong. They say they want money, but they don't know what they're going to give in return for it, okay? We cannot sit in bed and visualize the money is not going to come to us unless we give something in return for it. So you've got to have a business, a product, or a service that you're going to give in return for the money. That's step 2. Now, step 3 is you've got to establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money that you want. And I'm not talking 5 years down the line. I'm talking 90 days from now, 6 months from now. What date do you want to accumulate this money by? That's step 3, okay? Now, step 4 is create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Now, you're not going to know the exact action steps that are going to move you towards this amount of money, but you need a plan. You need an idea of what you can do that's going to move you towards that money. So that could be setting up a business if you don't have one. That could be launching a new product. That could be running masterclasses. That could be doubling the amount of sales calls that you take, okay? You need a plan. Now, step 5 is write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, which is step 1. You've got to name the time limit for its acquisition, which is step 2. And you've got to state what you intend to give in return for the money and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate the money, okay? This is very important. Step 6 is the most important. It says read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after rising in the morning. And it says in big capital letters, as you read, you've got to see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. So now we know the exact amount of money that we want. We know what we're going to give in return for it, and we know the date that we want this money by, okay? Now we've got to write a written statement. That's step 5. You've got to write your written statement and make it super clear, okay? And I'll give you the example that Napoleon Hill gives in chapter 4 on how your written statement should look. I literally just copied it from the book. Now, step 6, what he's saying is with this written statement, you've got to read it out loud twice every day, first thing in the morning and just before you go to bed, with your eyes closed, and you've got to say it out loud. Now, as you're saying your written statement, you've got to see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Now, when I first read that, I'm like, how do you see money before you have it in your physical reality? How do you do that? Well, pay attention to what Napoleon Hill says. He says it's important that you follow the instructions in these 6 steps. It's especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th paragraph. Now, you may complain that it's impossible for you to see yourself in possession of the money before you actually have it. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want money and become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you will have it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. Now, Napoleon Hill goes on to say, if you're skeptical about these 6 steps, these 6 steps were scrutinized by Andrew Carnegie and Thomas Edison. Now, for those of you that don't know Andrew Carnegie, he was a Scottish guy and he owned a steel organization. He was the first billionaire, and he looked over these 6 steps and said, these 6 steps are what you need to do to acquire money. And same with Thomas Edison, who's considered the best inventor ever. He said that these 6 steps are the way to accumulate any goal, not just money, any goal. Then Napoleon Hill goes on to say, if you do not see large amounts of money in your imagination, then you will never see them in your bank account. So when you follow these 6 steps, it's only going to work if you've got a burning desire. Like, everyone says they want more money. Have you saturated your mind with the idea of money though? Have you become obsessed with it? Think about what Napoleon Hill says. He says, here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that that desire is an obsession, then you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you will have it. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. You know, we literally become what we think about. You've got to build a burning desire for this money that you want. What are you going to do with this money? What type of things are you going to buy yourself? What type of things are you going to do for your family? You want to think about these things and you want to intensify that obsession within your own mind. Because when your mind is stimulated with a burning desire for money, you are going to be able to use your imagination to see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Okay? Now let's go to chapter 4, because in chapter 4 on auto-suggestion, Hill gives the exact example that I copied and placed on paper of how your written statement should look. Now it says, number 1, go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat out loud, so you may hear your own words, the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and the description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money. For example, suppose you intend to accumulate $100,000 by the 1st of January 5 years hence, and that you intend to give personal services in return for the money in the capacity as a sales representative, then your written statement of your purpose should be similar to the following. By the first day of January 2000, I will have in my possession $100,000, which will come to me in various amounts from time to time during this interim. Now, in return for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service as a sales representative of, describe the service or merchandise you intend to sell. And in that part, that's where you would put what you're going to sell or how you're going to accumulate the money, okay? Then it goes on to say in the written statement, I believe that I will have this money in my possession. And my faith is so strong that I can now see this money with my eyes. I can now touch it with my hands. And it is awaiting transfer to me in the proportion that I deliver the merchandise I intend to render in return for it. I'm awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan once it is received. It says you've got to repeat this program night and morning until you can see in your imagination the money that you intend to accumulate. Place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning, read it just before retiring and upon rising until it has been memorized. Now pay close attention to this as well. Now pay close attention to this part as well, because this is vital. It says, as you carry out these instructions, remember that you are applying the principle of autosuggestion for the purpose of giving orders to your subconscious mind. Remember also that your subconscious mind will act only upon instructions that are emotionalized and handed over to it with feeling. Faith is the strongest and most productive of the emotions. Now it says these instructions may at first seem abstract, but do not let this disturb you and follow them anyway. Now what I'm saying to you might seem abstract. Don't let this disturb you, and I'm telling you, follow exactly what I've just told you to do and what Hill is suggesting. I would be pausing this video and going back and doing it step by step by step and applying it, okay? Now it says the time will soon come if you do as you have been instructed in spirit as well as in action, when a whole new universe of power will unfold to you. Skepticism in connection with all new ideas is characteristic of all human beings. But if you follow the instructions outlined, your skepticism will soon be replaced by belief, and this in turn will soon become crystallized into absolute faith. This is powerful. You know, I'm thinking right now, 15 million copies of Think and Grow Rich have been sold. I wonder how many of them 15 million copies the people have read and they've actually applied what Napoleon Hill tells you to do. We are not reading for information. If you're reading books for leisure, fair enough. I'm talking about reading a book that is designed to help you attract money. You have to do what it tells you to do. Every single morning, I say my written statement. Every single night before I go to bed, I say my written statement. When someone like Napoleon Hill tells me to do something, I do it. And this took my income from £15,000 a year, and I've had months up to £35,000 months. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I just want you to know that if I can do it, then you can do it. But if you're reading Think and Grow Rich, if you're on YouTube, even watching me, just to gather information, I promise you right now, your results will not change. Implementation turns information into transformation. Okay? Now, if you want help learning how to apply these principles and turn your yearly income into a monthly income and start winning in a big way, then go to the link in the description and book a free one-to-one call with me. I will show you exactly how to get from where you are to where you want to be. I don't think this works. I know this works. Like if you're coachable and you do what I tell you to do, I'm telling you, your life will never be the same again. My calendar is extremely busy. I have just got to Sitges, which is very close to Barcelona. I've took my mum for a 4-day retreat, so I'm going to go and enjoy myself. But I have opened up a few slots because I want to help you and I want to see you win. It's a first come, first serve basis. If you're really serious about attracting big money into your life, then book that free one-to-one call with me. And don't forget the good stuff. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified for when I drop a new video. I'm Joel McLeod, and you have an incredible day.